I'm gonna wait for y'all. Y'all waited. My apologies, but I had to run around. It's snowing out there today. The snow is coming. The temperature's about to drop to zero. It's about to be ugly. So I had to run around. Please forgive my tardiness. But the party has begun. First drink has just been first drink has already started. I'm just gonna wait on y'all for a little bit. Nothing like talking about a night we beat the Celtics, just enjoying it. I'm just gonna vibe right now. Whew, finally back in the house. Snow is definitely. I hope it's not snowing where y'all at. It's definitely snowing where I'm at. What's good? What's good? Oh, we about to have some fun. You know I love it when when we beat the Celtics. There's nothing like ah there's nothing like the next day after beating the Celtics. I don't care what we do from this point on. We good. We even. We even. Mazel tov. I know we supposed to start at 1, but I got caught out there in that weather. Man, y'all want to chip. We ain't leaving y'all alone. We still on that. Ain't nothing changed. I'm still mad the Celtics got a chip, though. I got to respect it, though. I ain't going to lie. I respect the championship. But whenever we play y'all, I want to bury y'all. I don't care. I don't care how many championships y'all got. But salute to the one that y'all got last year. That was one of the ones y'all deserved that. Shout out to Brad Stevens. I respect him a lot. Definitely respect him a lot. Yeah, exactly. No, it's smoke for life. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's smoke forever. Yes, sir. But I'm happy. I'm happy we won. They thought they could beat us without shooting 53s, though. Yo, they thought they could beat us without shooting 53s, yo. Oh, it's snowing in Toronto too? Yeah, it's snowing where I'm at too. And the temperature's about to drop to 0 to Nathaniel's in a couple of days. I had to run out there, get water, get food, make sure I'm stocked for the next couple of days, and I still got to go to work. I was at work last night when the game was popping off. When I got home and I saw the score and I watched the highlights, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. Shout out to the guys for the win, man. I needed that one. We even now. Like, I'm not mad no more. Like, I was frustrated with all this losing, and I understand everybody has their ways of coping. Some say it's competitive tanking. Others say, you know what I mean, the trades are coming up. We got opportunities to get better. Guys weren't healthy together. But listen, this is a rivalry one. Like, regardless of what we got going on, we need to beat the Celtics. That's just a right. That's Michigan, Ohio State. That's how it feels to me. Michigan, Ohio State. We needed that win. I'm happy we got it. And everybody did just enough for us to get the victory. You know what I mean? That's all I needed. We don't need no soup. We ain't need a superstar last night. We just needed everybody to play their part. And we look good. We look good. But it's just that when they infuse the massive three-point shooting, we can't keep up with massive three-point shooting. If the Celtics would have shot 53s like they normally do, we would have had some complications. They thought they could beat us playing real basketball. You must be out your rabbit ass. There's only a handful of teams I think that can really beat us honestly without shooting threes. Maybe like 2 or 3. Everybody else, if you can't shoot a ridiculous amount of threes and you got to play us straight up, you got problems. It's gonna be a long night. Hey, listen, they should have shot 53s like they normally do. That's what they get for trying to be cute. That's what they get. I mean, but the truth is, that's one of the reasons why people don't respect the championship. It's not because they went not so much the easy route because they played who was in front of them, but they leaned on that 3-point line and that type of thing to get where they are. Nobody really respects that type of basketball, despite what the analytics say. Despite what all the analytics, all those analysis and the backpacking basketball fanatics are saying, threes are more than twos. And if you know how to play, you know what you're supposed to be doing on the court and when you're supposed to be doing it. Everything has its proper place. And shooting a ridiculous amount of threes is unrealistic. And it's not good. You could do it, but we're not going to respect you. It can work massively for you. You know what I mean? Like it did for the Celtics. But there's a reason why Jason Tatum doesn't get the respect he's supposed to get. There's a reason why Jaylen Brown doesn't get the respect he's supposed to get. And you can attribute that to the 3-point shooting that the team has adopted as a mainstay. You know what I mean? And it's true. I hope you're having a good day too. But you have to understand, old head basketball players and even the kids who are playing now, we know what basketball is. What the Celtics are doing, and when teams shoot a ridiculous amount of threes, there's a disconnect emotionally. Like, that ain't real ball. That ain't real hooping. I mean, it's a way to win, but we're not going to respect it. We're not going to jack it. And the eyes have it. Everyone is saying it's just it can work. You know what I mean? But it just won't be respected. And the Celtics won the championship was good, fam. But it's like we just don't respect it as much as we should. They didn't get celebrated as much as they should. And I believe it's because of the style of play. If they had a more chest-to-chest, face-to-face style of play instead of a barrage of threes, maybe the world will respect them. You got guys who have played in the league who are straight up violating Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics way more than I ever could have. And everybody just claim, you ain't never make it and you don't know. But it seems like everything I say, they're saying. A ball player knows ball. If you know how to hoop, you know how to hoop. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw Scotty going at it, but he ran him into that screen. He ran. Scotty got him. Scotty stopped him, and then that motherfucker ran him right into a screen, and he was gone. So Scotty, I liked it though. I liked Scotty. He made him back up, but when that screen came, Jason Tatum was in the wind. I was like, God damn! I didn't know he was that fast. I didn't know Jason Tatum was that fast. Like, but Scotty's definitely a good enough defender to make you really think twice and call for a screen. You know what I mean? But he doesn't get a lot of respect for his defense because, we looked so atrocious at times defensively that he's going to get overlooked. He helps sides a lot. That's where his injuries come sometimes. You know what I mean? That's where some of his situations as far as getting hurt and all of that comes from helping somebody out. He wouldn't have got hit. His ankle would have never gotten, he would have never had the ankle injury had he not went to help out. He's our help side defense. I mean, I think they should look at him. If he's not going to be an all-star, think about him for all defensive, for sure. Because that you can't talk about the record. Fuck the record. All defensive, for sure. He bails a lot of guys that definitely got blown by and destroyed out. You know what I mean? He bails a lot of guys out. So I'm not going to stop drinking. But it's just one of those things where, we're hoping that everything comes together and we can get better as a team and get more consistent wins. Like, there's no reason why we can't consistently beat teams. But that 3-point line is a big difference maker for a lot of teams and a lot of situations against us. A lot of times we can't keep up, you know what I mean, where everybody's shooting threes. But as far as playing basketball is concerned, we can. You know what I mean? And we're getting better. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting better, but it's just it's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know what I mean? And I'm anytime like, but it feels good when you can beat a rival. It makes up for all of the tough times. Like I know this is a rebuild year. We understand the concept, but we also have to look at it with some type of reality. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know what I mean? Hey, every player. I understand. Every player does have a rut. They'll get past. They have to work past it. There's a difference between us hoping that they get past it and them working past it. They got to put the work in. There's a lot of work that has to be done in between what we expect to be done. And a lot of times, a lot of that gets lost in translation because we just have this fantasized look at the game. As we all get older and mature, we understand it's not as easy as our conversation will lead people to believe. They got work to do. They got to sacrifice. They got to put the shots up. And you never know how many reps you got to put in as a player to see improvement and to gain momentum as far as improvement. We just have the conversation part, which is easy. They have the sacrifice. They have the actual hard part. And a lot of times guys don't delve into the hard part as much as we expect them to, as much as the price point would indicate they should. They don't look at it like we look at it because we're working paycheck to paycheck in some instances, or we're above or ahead of inflation. They're massively ahead of inflation. And for the little that they give, they're thinking, why would I have to give any more? You know what I mean? They have to fight past that comfort. It's because economically they're getting instant gratification. You know what I mean? Whether it be purchasing power or income, they're getting instant gratification for the moment. So it's hard to shake free and really be determined and hungry anymore when you're getting fed like that. So we got a lot of work to do. I think just like every other NBA team, everybody got work to do. But I think as fans, we think the conversation is as easy as our conversation having it. And they have to work past it. And you never know how long that's going to be. It could be a month. It could be a year. Look at Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher took him 2 years. For us to see this version of Chris Boucher, it took 2 years. We've been praying for this since after the bubble. Scotty came, he took a step back. He got injured that year. He got hurt that year. He was coming back off an injury. Last year, he was coming off of some type of injury where he was set back a little bit. And his favorite guys got traded. A lot of things went on. And now we're getting to see some improvement. 2 years after the fact. I would have wished we could have saw this sooner. Oh, yeah, smash that like button. I'm just not. Yeah, please do that. But we gonna build regardless. We're gonna have a good time whether y'all hit the like button or not. But I appreciate that. They should be smashing the like button. Because all we gonna have is valuable conversation. This ain't about money, this ain't about none. It's just us building. And if anything, I am a conversationalist. Yeah, shout out to Jacoperto, even though people want to get him traded, which I don't understand. For $80 million, we got a double-double machine who doesn't ask for the ball. You know some of these dudes, as soon as they look like they averaging a double-double, their agents will be like, yo, you need to get the ball more. You should be asking for the rock more. You should be out here demanding more. You know what I mean? But we're doing what we're supposed to do. I like Jacoperto. I like Jacoperto on this team. Yeah, Jacoperto should get more spots. What the hell is that? What's all that? Remember when you said all them scrubs gonna be Raptor stars? Who the fuck I said was gonna be a Raptor star? You know how hard it is to be a star in the league? They're not scrubs, they're all young players. It's gonna take more time than anticipated. Tanking is first of all, let's deal with the tanking. Whoever this board person is, let's deal with the tanking. It creates bad habits. Nobody likes to tank because it's passive aggressive quitting. Nobody likes it. If they beat us, they beat us. It just so happens now we're in a situation where we got to understand where we are. Beating Boston felt good. So what? You on my dick here watching. You could easily go do something else. Easy work. Easy work. They came here to have a good time. I'm here to have a good time. We get a win. We get a win. We don't let that get up out of here then. The fuck out of here. Think we just gonna be depressed and then we gonna follow your logic? Nigga, get the fuck out of here. Eat a dick. Go find something better to do, nigga. Ain't nobody invite you here. Unsubscribe and keep it moving. I'll replace you with somebody else. It's not hard. And we getting back into the momentum, and I'm gonna take back over the Knights. Since you want to get technical, you sound like you're a fan of a certain individual. I'm gonna take back over the Knights anyway, because that's my slot anyway. I let niggas have it for a year, still ain't getting nowhere. I'm just gonna come back and take over the Knights. Enjoy it while you can. It is what it is. Nah, B. Nah, you was wilding. You was wilding. I don't want to hear that. You was wilding. You can't tell me chill the fuck out. If I'm happy about something and we building and we beat the Celtics, now you talking about chill. A minute ago, you was like, you was telling us all these bums was gonna be stars. When the fuck did I ever say these young kids was gonna be stars? They got potential. Being a star is hard in the NBA. But you ain't gonna talk crazy to me and think ain't gonna be no pressure behind it. That's the one thing I don't like about some of the Raptor fans. You know what I mean? Some of y'all will talk that shit, and then when I say something back, oh no, you just took. Nah, that's how I respond. I'm a New Yorker. We gonna respond aggressively, and we gonna talk the way we talk. Now, if you feel like you want to be somewhere else, you got options. I'm not the end all, the be all, but in a minute, it's gonna be candles to the sun. It's gonna be right back the way it's supposed to be. So what if I'm wrong? I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. The fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm not an expert. I'm an enthusiast. I'm somebody who enjoys basketball. I'm not a journalist or expert. I'm not behind the fucking curtain getting all the information. Nah, that's not it. I'm just a dude who loves the game. I speak from my perspective. If we miss something, we miss something. I don't give a fuck. So what? You want some type of perfection? Go somewhere else. It's all right. We ain't gonna miss you. We cool. You find something that you like. Shit. Things I don't like, I've never been in anybody's comment section. If I don't like what you're doing, I just won't watch. I just find other shit to do. It's not hard. But you ain't gonna sit up here and play with me like in the comment section. I'm looking at all the comments. I read all the comments everywhere. Just because I don't say nothing, that don't mean I ain't see it. And just because I don't say much, don't mean I don't have a response. I just be sitting back listening. Oh, okay, let's see what you said. I'll give you 3 or 4 strikes. But if you keep on going that way, because what they going to do is they going to run to another channel and be like, yo, look what I said. See what I said? Ain't nobody ever applying pressure to me. In face to face or on the internet. We just having fun. But listen, don't get disrespectful. I'm just saying. I don't play games like that. Like, I don't disrespect people and I don't tolerate it. I'll let you slide, but then when you slide in the home plate, it is what it is. Exactly. Let's get back to the let's get back to the vibe. Let's get back to it. You can't talk reckless and then tell people how to react to you because you was talking crazy. These kids, they're kids. They just got to the league first year. You calling them bums and saying they like, listen, they would have never made it to the league. They would have never made it to the league if they weren't good enough. It's one thing to get there, and it's another thing to be there. It happens. Oh, nah. See what I'm saying? I got mine ready. I mean, we back in motion. It's just going to take a little time to get back where we need to be. But listen, you might want to, whenever I go live, y'all might want to, you know what I mean? Roll you up something and get you something to drink. Because certain things aren't going to be tolerated. You know what I mean? I don't go to places disrespecting people, and I don't expect that. You know what I mean? I told y'all think I'll be bullshit when I tell y'all I got a short temper. I'm really not somebody you play with. I don't bother people for a reason. I stay in my lane. I have my fun. It is what it is. But I'm not going to take it too serious, but you're not going to go crazy. Not going to go crazy. There's a line. Like, even as a man, you got to be like, yo, listen, you're doing too much, man. Now you're getting disrespectful. You can always leave, or we can, you know what I mean? We can figure it out some other type of way. That's crazy. But yeah, anytime we beat the Celtics, I'm happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck if we 0-81. If we're 0-81 and we beat the Celtics, I'm happy. I'm going to celebrate. If we tanking, I don't know what we're doing. I'm not a part. I don't know what Masai is doing. Nobody goes into the NBA wanting to give up. You know what I mean? You can't go into a season thinking just because we're not having the success we want immediately, we should just give up and then hope for something in the future. You're forsaking all of the work. You got work to do. Yes, and everybody played on that Celtic team. There was no excuses. What they felt they can do is they felt they can beat us without shooting threes. That's what they leverage. That's the thing they leverage. Without shooting a ridiculous amount of threes, you cannot beat anybody. You're gonna have a rough way to go against anybody. And I understand they want to get some type of respect going for the players that they have. That shit ain't gonna happen. You already found a cheat code that people don't respect. You utilize it. You won a championship that nobody respected, and there was no real big party for it. And now your players are not getting the respect that they deserve. Whose fault is that? Listen, you found a way to win. Don't mean we gonna jack it. It's 2025. It's crazy out here. Everything is ass backwards, believe it or not. Cat Williams messed up 2024. I stayed out the way. Truth my ass. These niggas just find out about everybody. There's no trace of me on social media anywhere. I know how to be a ghost in every environment I ever been in. Oh, man. Exactly. Listen, anytime we beat the Celtics, I don't care who's left from those two guys are left from when we lost in the bubble. We got to spank them. They got to get what they deserve. And we will deserve it. Every time we win, we should be celebrated. You know what's crazy? And I'm starting to understand what this live is, and there's nobody better than me with where we're about to go. It's all about having dope-ass conversations. Not so much the topic, because we're going to go into our own direction anyway. So I'm cool with that. But as far as the Celtics, people got to understand, when we beat them, it's always going to be a moral victory for us. And we're going to enjoy it, no matter what the record is. It's mandatory. Yeah, exactly. The Celtics didn't think we were going to be as aggressive as we were. And they didn't think the referees would allow us to be that aggressive. The referees swallowed that whistle. Now you know the difference between when it's 8-on-5 and 7-on-6, when we get a chance to play how we play. And it's not so much a lucky, it's a lot of things now I'm realizing that goes into an NBA team winning. It ain't got it's a lot of the machine. And we all are starting to realize how important having the machine behind you is. You listen, you know the Drake and Kendrick situation. We never equated the machine being behind all of that so much. Now at the NBA, okay, we get it. It's more advantageous if they win. It's more advantageous if they're in the playoffs. It's more advantageous if they perform well or they get these favors, because that is where the money is traditionally based off those relationships. We get it, but when those favors are gone, shit. It's even playing field. Those who don't get those opportunities tend to outperform those who have been getting them. and that's a reality. You know what I mean? But it was a great win. And you know what I noticed too? Whenever I say something, there's always going to be somebody in our fan base that's going to say the opposite. If I say, it's a situational win. Oh, nah, but you ain't give them enough credit. There we go. And if I give them all the credit in the world, nah, it was just a situational win. Oh, you can enjoy that. Yes, I can. Anytime we beat the Celtics, I'm going to have fun. And I also know there's always going to be people saying the opposite of what I say just because they think that's cool. It's not going to annoy me, but I'm just noticing the pattern. I agree. Players can't just cash in and expect to win. Exactly. That's why I disagree so much with this tanking culture. What you're going to end up having is so much quitting and giving up and accepting we're going to have some type of savior come that when that kid comes, how are we going to win? Because now we still got to figure out how to become successful. We have to win no matter what. We have to win no matter who we got. So when we do get something magnificent, it's an accentuated piece. Just like with Kawhi. Kawhi, listen, the team was doing well without him, was winning without him, was successful without him, basically saved his career. Why don't we say that shit? Why don't we talk about that? Since everyone wants to say, yo, Kawhi saved the Raptors and that championship. No, we saved his career. The Raptors saved his career. You saw what happened after he left. Everything fell to shit. Imagine if Kawhi didn't come to the Raptors. Where would he be? He wouldn't be in any conversations of significance at all. The team was winning without him. The team was successful without him. The team was successful after him. He was finding trouble with success. Remember, he played with Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker. 3 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame coach. They were winning before he became who he was. And once he became that, they won more. And he benefited from that. And that's the most important thing. You have to win regardless. Then when you get that piece, it's more money, more money, more money, more money. That's it. Exactly. Listen. He was washed. They ruined the Spurs ruined his reputation. And if he didn't have success instantly, he was washed up. Imagine, look at what he's doing now, and imagine that season not happening. He would be an afterthought, a 30 for 30. He would be a subject of these podcasts that we be watching. And he would have to explain his side of all of it. Exactly. Not only did Toronto get Kawhi paid, they got Paul George paid. Because he pulled them in as a +1. This nigga made like $600 million and has done jack shit but become a podcaster. Yo, Kawhi got him almost $400 million with the Clippers, and then he got another 2 with the Sixers, and he's a podcaster full-time, part-time. The fuck out of here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. This nigga's a full-time podcast, $600 million podcaster. He got more money than every podcaster. And nobody watches it. It's either you watching Gil or Jeff Teague. Those are the only 2 you watching. You might watch Melo if you ain't got nothing to do. Exactly. The thing I don't like, the thing that bothers me about the players having podcasts, where are the coaches? Let the coaches say their piece so we can have a good amalgamation of what all the information is, as opposed to them saying their part and then the coach don't ever get to speak. Because we're getting one-sided conversations. Everybody think they right, and then they start to come out with these truths. And everything I've been saying for years, they're saying the same thing I've been saying. Just in their own way. And they got a co-host and all this other. I didn't even know Gil had all that stuff he had. This nigga got an engineering room. He got makeup people. He got caterers. I'm like, damn, I thought y'all was just in the house building. I didn't know it was a show. But shout out to Gil. I didn't know it was a show like that. These niggas is putting, the bag is out there. That's why everybody's sitting in their living room trying to figure it out. Get 2 couches and a table and the microphones and let's figure it out. There's a lot of money involved. But not a lot of star power. It's the difference between playing basketball and talking about it. Like I keep telling y'all, they were uncoachable. So how is it that the people who don't want to listen to coaches are going to talk to you about basketball and try to preach to you? It's tough to do. Because they were definitely rebellion. And now all of a sudden, brother polite. They all preaching now. These kids are like, nigga, we saw you. Nigga, you go ahead, man. You was throwing $50 million at the strip club and running around with Thadalinas. I want that life. Don't tell me nothing else. I don't want to hear that, brother polite. And shout out to brother polite, man. Yeah, he did. Yeah, but I remember watching. Yeah, Gil does have a dope. Yeah, but I watched her podcast. I've been watching her podcast for years. She played her hand well. She played her hand well. A lot of guys was after her. A lot of guys was in her DM. A lot of guys were after her. Shout out to Gil for getting her. A lot of guys were after her. Hope they, you know what I mean? I hope they last forever. What's my opinion of Darko and the coaching? He's good for right now. At some point, the reality is we got to let him go. We got to move on from it. We got to let him go. He's good for this level right here. There's a lot he has to learn. The problem is, you need a coach who puts winning above everything. It isn't about your philosophy. It isn't about your ideas. It isn't about your ideals. It's not about you proving everybody wrong. It's about you finding what works and then making it work. And that's it. You think Phil Jackson is a great coach? I want y'all to lie to me and tell me that Phil Jackson is a great coach. He's nothing without Tex Winters. He's nothing. Imagine if Doug Collins would have said, all right, I'll use the triangle offense. All those championships would have went to Doug Collins. That's a fact. They begged Doug Collins for like a whole year, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he refused to use the triangle. There would have never been a Phil Jackson if Doug Collins would have used that. You got to find what works. This is professional basketball. Every player has a shelf life. Every team has a shelf life. Every run and momentum has a shelf life. You got to make the most of it. He had the best players. No, he had Mike and he had Scotty. But the rest of those guys, they were playing at a fraction of what they could do to fill that triangle. Do you know how good Luke Longley was in college? Luke Longley averaged almost 30 a game and led the nation in scoring and rebounding. Luke Longley could have been the man. My man in Arizona that passed away, his brother threw him off the boat. God bless him. The one that played for Arizona. Magnificent player. Fucking BJ Armstrong, Craig Hodges, Paxson. Like, they had some guys. They had some guys that could, listen, they could have revolutionized the game shooting threes also. Exactly, Kobe and Shaq as well. They benefited from the triangle. Without the triangle, they don't win shit. Yeah, Williams. I remember the first time I ever saw him, he was playing against Shaquille O'Neal. Had a great game. This was when he was playing at Arizona and Shaq ate their food on national television and Dick Vitale went crazy. This is when Shaq was wearing them big ass knee braces. And he was cabbage patching after he dunked. Shout out to Shaq, man. People keep forgetting how big Shaq was. And I don't mean as far as basketball. Like, he was the wave. Like, y'all ever want to know about a wave? Like, Shaq was that way. He was a vibe. And it just so happened he had it all. You couldn't stop him on the court. Everybody loved him off the court. He was living his best life. Those stories you never gonna hear. Shaq was out here wilding. Shaq was out here wilding. He buy your girl a car, man. Listen, I heard at one point all his girls had the same hoopty. They all had the same car. That's how you know they were Shaq baby girls. So you got to stay away from them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I miss those days. You know what I mean? But right now we got a good opportunity to figure something out. Yep, 7'2", 340 exactly. Yes. Yo, I remember the first time he ripped the rim down. It was on NBC. It was on a Sunday, and he ripped the whole shit down. Yep. But he also got dunked. He almost got dunked on by Kevin Johnson. If he would have got dunked on by, if Kevin Johnson would have finished that dunk, if you look at last night, Ja Morant got a step on Wemby, and he cocked it back, and he threw it in the rim, and the crowd goes crazy. When Kevin Johnson got his step on Shaq, he cocked it back. Shaq didn't stand a chance. He was out of position. If he finishes that dunk, Shaq's whole career is over. I promise you. If Kevin Johnson finishes that dunk, he dunked on Akeem Olajuwon, and people lost respect for Akeem Olajuwon. He had to go win MVPs and all that and championships to smooth it out. But when KJ caught that, he caught Shaq slipping, and he cocked it back. Shit. If he would have finished that dunk, Shaquille O'Neal, everything about Shaquille O'Neal being tough, and everybody would have tried to dunk on him after that. That popped out. He lucky. He'll tell you that too. He lucky that dunk popped out. That was a national televised game. Yeah, Shaq was ripping rims down on purpose. Yeah, they all reinforced now. Nobody's gonna ever rip those rims. But also Darryl Dawkins. Darryl Dawkins used to him. It was a few dudes that could rip the rim apart, but they just didn't want to. No sense in messing up the game. But Shaq was doing that because he wanted to show guys how powerful he was. But if he would have got dunked on, it'd have been over. Yeah, King was dope. I love the King. He's you know what I mean? The dream. what are you gonna expect? He's phenomenal. But if he would have got dunked, listen, when he got dunked on by Kevin Johnson, it took something off that shot blocking. They looked at him like, oh, we could do that. It almost went down. Exactly. Yes, he didn't. Steph Curry didn't ruin the NBA, the three-point shooting. It was just the rest of the NBA, especially the Celtics. They took that whole game plan and made it into, you know what I mean, their thing. But he made it exciting. His pops used to hit three. Yo, Michael Jordan was the first player that I ever heard talk about his pops. He said it. If Del Curry gets hot, he's unguardable. Del Curry could have he was a spot-up shooter. If Del Curry wanted to, he could have definitely put up more threes if he wanted to. Easily. Yeah, it's definitely a copycat league. Definitely a copycat league. Definitely. But you don't have, like, this NBA shit, when you really look at everything, when you get older, you start to see the life of a thing and how it grows, and it's like a galaxy. Like, and every team is traveling at light speed, right? So if you're thinking of it as a galaxy and the NBA teams are traveling at light speed, at the speed of light, the NBA is expanding, so you're never going to catch it. It's always evolving into something different and metamorphosizing into something different. When you're never going to catch it, you're just hoping that you have your moment. So if you see something that's working, you're going to, especially if you don't have anything innovative, you're going to just latch on and see if you could build and keep your job. Because at the end of the day, you're here today, going tomorrow. A lot of these guys are going, think about it. 5 years from now, a lot of these people are going to be gone or afterthought or irrelevant. Coaches and players. So it's one of those things where it's like, we got to be realistic and honest with ourselves. If we were in those situations where with the NBA, would we copy off of what was working, or will we try to do something innovative and take that time out? You got hundreds of millions of dollars in front of you. You don't have a lot of time. You're getting older. You got a wife, you got kids, you got a mortgage, you got responsibilities. It's a hustle, and everybody's hustling. Yeah, definitely. I think the league is going to phase out of the copycat shit also. I think it's going to go back to normal, but Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson was my man on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'll never forget it. Yeah, but the league will definitely phase. It always goes through these phases. Everybody's going to try and find that thing. I think the triangle is the one thing that stands the test of time, but nobody wants to do it because it takes too much work. But if I'm paying you $3 million, you're going to have to run that triangle, or you're just going to have to work at Walmart, because I'm not paying you that type of money in comparison to what everybody else is making to not run this offense that's won 15, 16 championships. So I don't think Pritchard's going to have his team. He's 5'8". Pritchard is 5'8". I just found that out. I thought he was like 5'10", 6 feet. He's 5'8". They're not going to give him a team, not because he's short, but because he has to do so much to get his game off. Is going to take away from everybody else. Like, the shorter you are, the more you have to do. I hated being 5'7". I hated that shit. I went to the doctor for like a whole year hoping I was going to get that growth spurt. That nigga was like, yo, listen, let me talk to you for a second. He's like, yo, come to my office, man. You been coming here every day. Let me talk to you. Let me have a real conversation. Nigga, this is as tall as you're going to get. You 16. You 15, about to be 16. You might not grow no more. This is it for you, champ. See, but Fred is 6 feet. Fred is a legit 6 feet. And he's a dog. Fred is the ultimate hustler. Like, if Fred was a drug dealer, he'd be Nino Brown. If Fred was a drug dealer, he'd be Nino Brown. Ruthless. He's going to get it done. Yes, Pritchard, yeah. Those opportunities. What would Pritchard be if you had the defense focusing on him? There's a lot. You would have to be such a dynamic player at 5'8" to get it done. I wonder what's going on with RJ. He had took a little step back. I hope he's okay. I hope everything is all right. You know what I mean? He'll be fine. Hopefully he'll be fine. Scotty is Scotty. I want him to do whatever it takes for us to win. I don't need him. Like, he could easily average 24 a game. And I've been saying that's only 6 points a quarter. Scotty can get us 24 a game. It's those rebounds and assists that define whether we're going to win or lose. He can get us 12 rebounds, 8 assists. We got a good chance of beating anybody on the planet, whether they shooting 53s or not. Yeah, Scott. Yeah, RJ has been off a little bit. You know what I mean? He has been off. He took a couple of days off. They said he wasn't feeling well, but hopefully he's back to normal. You know what I mean? I hope everything is cool. You know what I mean? But this thing ain't gonna stop. Like, that's the one thing I hated about the basketball season. That shit keep going. You have a bad game, guess what? You got a chance to have a good game. You get hurt, that can be the end of everything for you. You know what I mean? And it's a lot to deal with, especially at the NBA level. And it's crazy how they're saying all this shit I've been saying for years. Unfortunately, I had to fucking delete all those videos, but it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yo, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, you never recover from losing a family member. Like, I lost my grandmother, I lost my moms, I lost my aunt, I lost friends. I've never recovered from any of that shit. There's one day that I set aside. I'm going to deal with all that and probably cry for like 24 hours. But I've never dealt with any of the deaths. And I've been losing friends since 86. I've been losing friends and family since 1986. So it's like, I haven't dealt with any of the people that passed. I can only imagine what someone is like to lose a sibling. You know what I mean? That's tough. You know what I mean? But everybody grieves a different way. Like, sometimes it hits them, like the holidays, New Year's, like you have all these moments and yeah, they haunt you after a while. You got to get over it. It takes time. It's worse than having a breakup. Like, y'all, as a lot of y'all young dudes, y'all think a chick breaking your heart or a bad breakup, that shit'll set you back 4-5 years emotionally. That shit'll mess you up, especially if you was into her. Shit. You go ahead. It's going to take you some time, buddy. Yeah, exactly. You never recover. You just deal with it. And he's in a city where him and his brother, they went places, they did things. Like he might go to a place and he might have a flashback and he might just get into this space. You know what I mean? Like I've had moments where I might watch a movie and I'll hear something and it'll remind me of my mother. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch Kevin Hart. Like a lot of people are like, yo, how come you don't? Kevin Hart is dope. I like Kevin Hart, but I don't watch him because my mother had that same sense of humor, incredible sense of humor. That same sense of humor, I couldn't believe it. When I see it, it's like, nah, I can't do it. I might watch his movies once or twice, but it reminds me of my mom's. Like that sense of humor, those jokes, all of that. Like you start missing family. Like, nah. Sometimes you gotta take a sip. And it's probably gonna take. And he's young. He's young and successful. Like when you're going through it and you're struggling and you're figuring out life and you know what I mean, there's not a lot of opportunities for you to live out those fantasies where you think the world is just gonna stand still and everything's gonna last forever. You have those spurts when you're in our realm of economics, but when you're rich, you think everything's gonna last forever, and then it crashes, and mortality hits you in the face. Like, damn, this shit ain't. None of it does. You know what I mean? You got to deal with it. And it's hard to deal with. You grow up, you deal with the pain. Honestly, you never deal with it. You learn how to deal with the pain. That's it. You don't get over it. You just learn how to deal with the pain. It still hurts. Every Christmas, New Year's, birthdays. Like, I stopped looking at the calendar. Like, I hate when my birthday comes up because, you know, sometimes you feel guilty. Like, damn, like even if like once I get where I'm trying to go, everybody I would share it with is gone. Anybody that I would share all that with is gone. So how can I really enjoy it? There's a big piece of me that don't even fucking want it anymore. Sometimes you just like, yo, fuck it, I don't even want it no more because they gone, they not here. This is for us. Who I'm gonna share this with? It's tough to deal with, but you got to finish what you start. You got to finish your breakfast. I'm going to finish what I started, and then when it's my time, I'm going to fade off into the sun. But while I'm here, I'm going to rock out. Get this, enjoy this life, and try to get this shit situated for my son. Leave him a couple million, and then call it a day. That's a win for me. Because there's nothing I can enjoy. Like, so I can understand where he's coming from. I could definitely understand where RJ's coming from. I can only imagine, like, can you imagine having your dream and then you can't really enjoy it because you feel guilty for having it? You wish that you can go back to when you didn't have it? That shit tough. Hopefully he'll get back. Basketball is a sanctuary. Yeah, it's tough. Like I really don't talk to people about it. You know what I mean? This is one of those rare occasions when I do talk about it. The Bucks are one of those. Isn't Doc Rivers, hold on. Isn't Doc Rivers, all jokes aside, isn't he having like throat surgery? Like he had to go to a throat doctor or something like that? He's been having problems with his voice. I thought that was his voice. He messed his voice up for some reason. They're saying he got to go to a throat doctor, and that's when they've been kind of going on this run to, you know. Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal. Us playing against the Bucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not how he sounds. Like he had to go to a throat doctor. We all, as grown men, we all need to go see a throat doctor from time to time. Sometimes you gotta go see a throat doctor. You know what I'm saying? You having a rough day? Some of us can pass the prescription in the house. Some of us got in-house throat doctors. Some of us don't. You know what I mean? I miss having an in-house throat doctor. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story for another time. But shout out to Doc. They trying to turn it around though. They trying to turn it around. They trying to turn it around. That is a yeah. I mean, yeah, no pause, no freaky. But yeah, we all. I'm just saying. We need that. I'm just saying. Oh man, yeah. You and me both in the house with this cold weather. I still got to work tomorrow. Yeah, but it's one of those things where we play against them. It don't mean as much as it used to, because like a lot of these teams, like the 76ers and the Bucks, the Pacers, they all took a step back for some weird reason. They all three of those teams took a step back when we were all expecting them to take that step forward. A win against them is not going to feel as good as it does against the Celtics. When you beat the Celtics, it just feels like the cake. Not so much the icing on the cake, but that's the cake. It takes the cake. And then you have, let's say, for instance, we lose to the Bucks. What does that actually mean for us? You know what I mean? It really don't mean much for us. Dame gets bodied by Jalen Brunson. I thought last year was some type of fluke. Jalen Brunson gave him 40-something twice. Then he did it again recently, and they got blown. Man, listen, you can't come to us telling us nothing. I don't want to hear nothing from Dame. You know what it is? And this is the conversation I really want to have, and I think it's time for us to have it. Is it not the time for the end of an era of the West Coast point guards? Remember that era of West Coast point guards? Baron Davis, Gil. Even though Gil is from Tampa, he's considered himself an LA guard. Brandon Jennings, like all these LA guards, James Harden, Westbrook. LA had so many dope guards. They kind of took over the league. LaMelo, Lonzo. You had so many California guards running around wreaking havoc on the league. It is the end of a wave. And as a New York point guard, I'm happy as shit to see that shit end. them West Coast niggas was a problem. A problem. Yes, Kevin Johnson had crazy hops. But them West Coast point guards, I'm glad it's the end of an era. I'm glad it's the end of that era. Dame is the last of the Mohicans. You know what I mean? All right, the current NBA is catching me off guard. Those who expect. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I'm trying to figure out why it's like that. Is it deliberate? Is it deliberate to make it more interesting down the line? Because you have these traditional teams that are successful throughout. Now they have to fight and use their basketball acumen to get their success back. Now it makes for interesting basketball because now everybody who's expected to win, who isn't winning, has to make sure that they do win to make the playoffs, and they tend to do that, and it makes for interesting basketball because now every game means something. Is it deliberate or is it an accident? You know what I mean? There's no way the Pacers fall that far behind. There's no way that these teams fall at the same time. Oh wow, you talking about Pip? Yeah. I don't. All right, so Pippen dunking on Patrick Ewing. I don't mean to spin off, but I'm responding to all the comments as much as I can. Yeah, I don't know, but Penny Hardaway had a solid dunk on Patrick Ewing too, and Mike. But PE is a true shot blocker. Patrick Ewing. Shout out to my man Rourke. He always explained to me the importance of Patrick Ewing, and I never, because I was a Magic fan, I didn't want to listen. Patrick Ewing is dope, right? He's a shot blocker. He's going to contest it. He could have moved out the way. His man, everybody that he tried to help out, their man got beat, and he's helping, and he gets dunked on. Then he gets dunked on while helping. So, yeah, the Patrick Ewing one, yeah. The Penny Hardaway also dunked on Patrick Ewing. That's interesting, too. See, Other than OKC, I kind of expect OKC. Where would OKC be without Shea becoming Shea? Shea becoming Shea is very important to OKC's success. Because remember, he was playing with Westbrook. That was a thing for a little while, and then they gave him the limelight, like the same thing they did with Dennis Schroeder. Remember when Dennis Schroeder was playing with Atlanta, and they let go of Jeff Teague, who was an all-star for Dennis Schroeder? Kind of did the same thing with Westbrook. Let him go to LA or wherever he went, and they gave the team to Shea, and Shea became a star. Is where would they be without him becoming that type? If he wasn't that type of star, he gets 30 a night on anybody. There's nobody that can guard him. And he got that swag too. He know he can't be guarded. There's a difference between scoring 30 and knowing you can score 30. The last time I seen people like a guard, like point guards that can score 30 is when I was a kid, when we played against any guard from Harlem. Them Harlem niggas will get you 30. And for all you who know about Cam and Mace, I want you to understand, I played against Cam as a kid. There's a lot. He downplays what he was. A lot of your NBA superstars, when they were not. This dude was the man. Be clear on that. Like, there was nothing like being a man in New York as a kid. Like, you could pop up to any tournament, you could pop up anywhere, and you the shit. All right, he downplayed it on purpose. Shout out to the Cash App. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. I'm definitely at a loss for words. I don't even know what to do at this point. No. What am I doing? Yeah. Thank you for the Cash App, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. See the cat. That's another thing. When we talk about the Cavs, I don't believe them. Like their record doesn't indicate anything. Like, they're good. How many teams have Donovan Mitchell been a part of that were good in a regular season, then get to the playoffs and they don't achieve the same success that you expect? They're dominant now. You got 2 7-foot centers, and you got Darius Garland, and you got Donovan Mitchell, and some good role players who are veterans who have been successful somewhat wherever they've been. Good system. Until they become successful, no one's ever going to believe it. No one's ever going to believe it. I appreciate that, man. Long time listener. Thank you. I want to understand. I want everybody to understand. I don't trust the Celtics in the playoffs anymore than I used to. I don't trust the Cavs at all. I think New York is going to beat everybody. If the Knicks are going to clean up that bench, they only need one spark off the bench. And there's nobody that can stop them from winning the chip. That's a fact. There is nobody that can stop the Knicks. Their starting 5 is the best starting 5 in the NBA. That starting 5, any one of them could do you greasy. Anybody from that starting 5 for the Knicks can do you. Thank you for the Cash App. Thank you. Like, I don't want people to mistake the fact that I'm not around, that I don't see everything. The Cavs, until they become successful, is going to be hard to believe that they can become successful. See, New York, that's the thing about the Knicks. You got to win in New York. That's one. And they have so many players that can beat you. And the most important player on that team to me is Josh Hart, because he does all the dirty work. If you don't have a guy that's going to do the dirty work, you're going to have problems in the playoffs. And he proved how valuable he was last year. And then all they need is a bench. God forbid they get Chris Boucher and add him with Precious Achua. It's over. If Chris Boucher goes to the Knicks and they team him up with Precious Achiuwa, it's a movie in New York. It's going to be the same way. It's going to be similar to the way it was when it's going to be similar to when they had J.R. Smith and what's his name from Chicago. What's the homie from Chicago? Oh man, I forgot the guard's name. My man that was in the Shy. Please forgive me, homie. Iman Shumpert. It's gonna be the same. You had them two together. That's a good enough bench. Thank you for the cash app. I appreciate it. That's a reality. If the Knicks get Chris Boucher, it's gonna be crazy. They only need a bench that can score 25 a game. That's not hard for 4 or 5 guys to do. That's only 6 points apiece. 6.5, 6.25, whatever it is. They can get it done. Yeah, we could get McBride. Exactly. I think the Knicks are going to look for, because they're saying Mitchell Robinson is supposed to come back, but they're going to try and move him and add some pieces. All they need is a bench that can get them 25 points a game, and to get those guys out the way and give them spells of relief. Man, if they go into the playoffs healthy, I don't believe there's a team in the playoffs that can beat the Knicks. If you got to go to the Knicks for 4 games, shit. Tracy Morgan ain't letting you leave with none of that. Tracy Morgan ain't letting you leave. Shout out to the OG. Tracy Morgan ain't letting you leave with no wins. It's over. It's Big Brooklyn. He ain't letting y'all go nowhere. This is one of the best Knicks teams people have seen ever. There's never been this type of crew. Not since the Clyde era, when they had Earl Monroe, Willis Reed, and everybody else they had along with Clyde. And Phil Jackson was on that team too. We got to see what happens. We got to see if they can stop him. It was good. I don't know about that trade. You talking about the kid from the Lakers? Talking about the kid from the Lakers? I don't mind. But you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just an enthusiast who like to talk about basketball. I don't know what's best for the team unless you know what I mean? Unless it works out. It's hard to everything is great in conversation, but I understand the work that has to go into all of it. It's easier said than done. You know what I mean? So when I say things, it's like kind of with the understanding of the work that needs to be done. I don't know how that works out. You know what I mean? If they trade Ishimura, or if that's the homie's last name, if they trade him to us and we get him, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Whose spot does he take? And is he gonna be satisfied with coming off the bench? Does he have his own aspirations? Does he want to be a starter? Will he accept his role? Like a lot of these, it's a lot to take into consideration sometimes when we get these dudes. I think we should just try and get a draft pick or get somebody who understands that, listen, when you come in here, we don't need you to be a superstar. We need you to fill this void. Can you fill this void? Yeah, the New York Raptors. That's dope. Yeah, I mean, we need we need whatever we can get right now because we don't know what the hell Darko's really doing. You know what I mean? We don't know we know what the triangle looks like optically. We know what Popovich does optically. We know what Tibbs does optically. Like we know what it looks like. We know what the Pacers look like. We know what Orlando looks like. We don't really know what we look like offensively and defensively to hang our hat on. So we don't know what's going to work until Darko figures out what actually works as opposed to what he wants to work. We do need Chris Boucher right now. You're right. But the reality is, if there's value, we gotta let him go for something. if we get something for him, we gotta let him go. We gotta let him go because we can't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. He might give us this and then go right back to the other shit again for a lesser price. Remember, we gave him almost 40 mil. Not to say not to talk paper, but I love talking numbers and I like talking paper. But we gave him 39 mil. He's set. He's thinking about that icing on the cake now. If he has to go to another team, he doesn't want that. Of course, he's going to have to perform well with us to stay with us. I wish he would have did it a year or two sooner so that this wouldn't look the way it looks. It looks so situational. I don't want us to give him the opportunity and then it goes back to normal and we accept the loss. I don't want to accept the loss. If listen, it is what it is. Who do I have winning MVP? Y'all don't want to know who I want to win MVP. y'all don't really want to know who I think should win MVP because y'all going by what ESPN say. y'all don't really want my opinions. I think Karl Anthony Towns should win MVP. Go ahead and tell me I'm lying. See, yeah, even Shea should have won MVP last year. They ripped him off. Shea should have got the MVP last year. They ripped off Shea for no reason. Shea Alexander was last year's MVP by far. By far, he was last year's MVP. It wasn't even close. But I got Cat. I got Cat as the MVP. I got Karl Anthony Towns the MVP. I don't see how Giannis is up there. I don't see how the fuck is Luka still up there on the list? How is Nikola Jokic still up on the list and Cat isn't? Everything people said he couldn't do in New York, and there's a lot of people that didn't want him because they kept saying he was soft. Well, I'll take a soft, pause, no freaky. I'll take a soft 25 and 12. And he's shooting 45% from three. Isn't that what y'all like? He's a center that's getting busy. There's nobody that can stop him. He's getting busy. He should be the MVP. SGA, Shea should have had the MVP last year. He should have had MVP last year. They can't even justify not giving him the award last year. Woo! Don't you do that to me. Don't say that to me. Don't say Jakob Poeltl for Zach Edey. Boy, I will pull the trigger on that right now. I would pull the trigger on that right now. Jakob Poeltl for Zach Edey. I love Jakob Poeltl. He would be just as productive. He would be just as productive with Memphis. Bring us Zach Edey. Oh my God. That's who I wanted us to draft. Now, if you're saying tank, which we were talking about last year, and get a player, Zach Edey is who I wanted. Zach Edey is exactly who I wanted. I mean, if Shea wins it, it's good. He deserved it last year also. I think right now, he's going to be one of those players that's so good that the NBA is going to start taking him for granted. Oh, wow. We should. Yo, you know business. Listen, you know how business goes. It's a national televised game. There's certain things you cannot do without permission. There's certain things you can't promote without permission and consent. And there's certain things you're not going to be promoting unless you're compensated or there's an understanding of cross-branding. There has never been a Golden State person in that Golden State arena playing at half court or doing whatever the shots is, whatever the promo is with the Raptors jersey on. I don't think any arena would allow that. You know what I mean? So I hate that it happened to a kid, but that was business. That was big boy business. Listen, Crystal, you gotta take that jersey off because according to these contracts we done signed in the fine print, we can't do that. That's what it is. That was business. That was big business. He learned business 101, how important branding is. Respect the house you in. She not getting, ain't nobody getting fired. Take that goddamn jersey off, boy. You know where you at. You know, listen, take that jersey off. If you want to still shoot, they gave him a choice. They gave him a choice of, if you still want to shoot, you have to take that jersey off. We can't do that. And what he did, he's take it off. I'm not taking it off. You got to take it off. Exactly. Yeah, they can't do that. See what I'm saying? Thank you very much. Thank you, my G. Thank you. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, we can't televise that. That's bad for business. You want to, how about this? We had 72 away games. Nobody has ever had a whole season of away games and have that counted toward their legacy. Nobody has ever had the referees, the coordination. I don't want to accuse anybody of, of collusion, but listen, we've been a victim of a lot of bullshit. And by the hands of the league. And this is not alleged. We've seen it firsthand year after year after the Raptors won the championship. Wasn't everything cool with the Raptors as long as they was losing to LeBron? Once they won a championship, it got real. When the fuck does the champion get treated as such? When? When does a champion get treated the way we got treated? Ever? Come on, B. Like, we not going to do that. We not going to do that. I ain't seen no champion get treated like that. Like, we owe you $5. No. No, he can't wear the jersey in our arena. Take that shit off. You put it back on when you finish shooting the shot, or we'll get somebody else. Now, it's a choice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. No NBA team would ever. Exactly. Like, they want us to be so comfortable with accepting bullshit. And when we put our foot down, oh no, you can't. Nah. I'm with all the fuckery. As you can see, I'm with all the fuckery. Like, you can't just sit up here and do what you want to do with no repercussions. If you argue, listen, men understand that. I don't necessarily, I love you ladies. I love women. Y'all don't understand this like we understand this. There was a time when if you disrespected the man, you had to duel to the death. He slapped you in the face with a glove and said, meet me outside. We're going to shoot at each other until one of us dies for disrespect. It's a fact. We don't go at each other in that manner because we know there's repercussions and consequences for disrespecting the man. And when you're a champion, there has to be repercussions for when they do dirty shit like that to you. There's no way we should go through what we've been going through for the last few years for no reason. All we did was win a championship. Most of the team went and tried to get paid. And then we're playing 8-on-5, 7-on-6. Sometimes you give us calls, sometimes you don't. Players are questioning referees' integrity, all types of shit. Then come to find out, just like certain teams did back in the day, the Sacramento Kings, you come to find out that they were correct. That Rasheed Wallace was also correct. You know what I mean? We shouldn't go through any of this. It's atypical. But we all have to understand that there's consequences. But there's no reason for us to go through what we're going through at all. It made no sense. Like, we didn't go through any. What do we do? This is what Chris Should have done this as well. Yo, shout out. You are absolutely right. Thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Thanks, John. Listen, yeah, there's consequences. Chris Rock shouldn't listen. There's a listen. Certain relationships have to be dissolved and set on fire when your manhood is pressurized. It's put in that space where you like, listen, I gotta do something to you. I understand the ramifications and the consequences of me doing something to you, but you did something to me. I gotta get you back. You're right. Chris Rock should, and he from Big Brooklyn. Listen, man. I can say one thing. Being from the Bronx, that whole show would have been over. There would have been a fight. If it was anybody from the Bronx and Will would have went up there and smacked him, it would have been the whole show would have been over. It wouldn't have been no show. It would have been, listen, Will, you need to call up them dudes that protected you back in the day. Because there's going to be a problem when we leave this place. I'm going to try and flip your whole car over. Nigga, you wildin'. Smack them in front over. First of all, on the East Coast, nobody from Philly should be smacking anybody from New York over a Baltimore chick that you met in L.A. without clarification. Now, if you're saying I slapped you because you was trying to get with my wife, because it's alleged that Chris Rock was trying to get with her. So that's part of why he smacked her, because Chris Rock was trying to get with her behind Will back. But we don't know the truth. We don't know. But when you put your hand on somebody, we got to fight. We got to fight. I don't care if I lose, man. I'm going to cut you. I got to do something. I ain't going to let you just hit me. I got to do something. We got to, listen, we going to jail. Together. We are both going to jail. You hit me first. I'm trying. Boy. Absolutely right. But I'm just saying, you got to hit him back. Even if he mollywops you afterwards, you just accept it. You know what I mean? Yes, consequences and repercussions. Absolutely right. That's part of being a man. That's why we don't argue as men. That's why there's a line we don't cross. If you notice, men nowadays, even if you are racist, even if you're biased, we still deal with each other with a certain level of respect, because we know if it goes too far, somebody gotta die. I'd have kicked the shit out of him. I'd have kicked him in the shins and then popped him real quick. Bang. And then, first of all, you can't walk up. First of all, you can't walk up to me and hit me. Like, I see you come, I'm hit you with a jab. Bang. Hit you with the jab is detested. Like, I already hit you first. We already gonna rumble. And I'm anticipating security coming. So I'm gonna try and flip you real quick so the crowd will go crazy. But there's too much money at stake. You know what I mean? And the sanctity of that situation. Yeah. But I'd have had to fight my way out of it. I'd have probably lost. Will Smith is Will Smith, man. And he could box. And he's connected. Like, what, y'all need to do y'all research on Will. Like, y'all think Will is one of them ones for real. Like, your favorite rappers nowadays, how you think they gangster and they connected to gangsters, Will Smith was one of them ones for real. Like, do your research and find out. All right now. Shout out to West Philly. Them niggas don't play. They don't play about Will Smith. Listen, man. All right. Yeah, that part. Will cleaned his act up and get that bag. But Will was, he'll put hands. He's known for putting, that's another thing I didn't understand about Chris Rock. You know, Will is known for putting hands and feet. Him and Jazzy Jeff, they known for putting hands on people, hands and feet. They known for that. I don't know why he let him get that close, but I digress. Yeah, woo. Hammer's another one. That y'all want to talk about Hammer? Y'all want me to talk about him? I want to hear a yes in the comment section. You want me to talk about Hammer or not? I want to hear. I just want to see one yes. If I see a yes to talk about Hammer, we're gonna delve into that New York MC Hammer thing. All right. So here we go. It wasn't about people playing MC Hammer. Like, whenever artists have problems with New York, it's never us as people. It's people in the music industry. So we listen to them. New York back then, we listened to everything, everywhere. If you think we didn't listen to your music, we did. If you think we couldn't get hold of your demo, we did. We had access to everybody's music. MC Hammer was a superstar's superstar. The man was a star. Dudes was hating on Hammer because he felt like New York wasn't playing him on the radio. They weren't. They weren't playing him. He wasn't getting played on New York radio. Not till maybe the first time I heard MC Hammer on the radio might have been like 2018, 19, WBLS. Niggas wasn't playing Hammer back then because it was pay to play in some instances. He didn't have the relationships and he didn't need them because he was a star. He crossed over. Remember, in New York, nobody wanted to, we're going to keep the crossover. And then when Puff came, everybody was crossing over. They wanted to cross over. But for a good 4-year span, nobody wanted to cross over because they knew what it meant, because they had knowledge. MC Hammer was the shit. Be clear on that. That he was the man. For them 3-4 years, that little 88, that 89, 90, 91, 92, man, listen, he was the man. And no, he didn't get played in New York. And it wasn't because it was the music industry. If you would have played that shit would have been up. Just like when they played Luke. The summer of 92, they played. That was my first time hearing Luke played in New York. And Luke became a superstar after that. Luke is already known throughout the country. But when New York started playing Luke in 92, the summer of 92, I Want to Rock, like the whole summer that was booming. And then it just turned into something else. But MC Hammer dudes was jealous. They couldn't figure out how he was doing it. He was a dancer. What's more entertaining than having a dancer on stage who can rhyme? Or you want to watch rappers run back and forth. This nigga had 6 dancers. He had females. He had an orchestra. He had fucking a band. He had background singers. He had more dancers. What? You can't compete. Boys to Men couldn't keep up with that. The man was so good. He opened for Boys to Men. By the end of the tour, they were opening for him. MC Hammer was the man. That's just what it was. But you can't compete with something you don't understand. Nobody understood why him, Young MC, Tone Loc, Q, like they weren't rhyming in a way that New Yorkers rhyme. And they were super successful because it was simple. It was, this is how I feel. This is what I think. This is here it goes. New Yorkers, we want to layer it with metaphors and similes and entendres and then double entendres and triple entendres and try and put all that into a song. Jay-Z used to do that. And then what he had to do, he had to water it down. That's the hardest thing to do. Exactly. Music was fire back then because it was music you could dance to and music you could live your life to. But there's consequences. MC Hammer was also connected, and guys were saying shit thinking that they can go and tour in Oakland. Same thing with E40. You couldn't say shit about E40 and think you could tour in the Bay or LA and think shit is cool. You could be in Cali and think they're not going to check you about that and have a conversation. That's the reality. Just like if you came to New York, you couldn't go to the Bronx, Harlem, Queens, Long Island, Shaolin, and think ain't nobody going to get in the car and come see you about that. That's just what it is. What's good, fam? Like, it's just one of them things. It's just guys were trying. They didn't like his success because they didn't understand it and they couldn't keep up with it. Remember, everybody had dances back then. Everybody was dancing back then. They couldn't fuck with MC Hammer. To this day, his choreography is the greatest you've ever seen in hip hop. The only person you can say in hip hop or R&B that can compare to him as far as dancing would be Chris Brown. He's like the best of both. He sounds like Mike. He has that octave and that tone, and he brings that feeling like Mike, but he also dances like him. He could do anything you put in front of him. Oh, you want to talk about Cam and Jim, huh? Nah, that's always been a thing, but you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. With the Cam and Jim thing, they can say whatever they want to each other. We can't, because that's always going to be family, and it might be a play. Everybody knows it. Like those who are in the circle and those who, it might be a play. It might be a play because 2010, there was a conversation that Cam had where Jim was like, "Yo, we should beef," and to draw up interest in the projects or whatever and go back and forth. Same thing with Jay and Dame. Remember the death of a dynasty. How did that shit play out in real life perfectly? Interesting. Like they all might be in that shit together. That's why I don't really delve into it, because we don't know the inner workings. Nobody knows what they were plotting. They could all be in this shit together. Don't get it confused. We are on the outside looking in. Now, see, when you speak of Jim, Jim is the underground champ. We love Jim. We love Jim. We love Cam. We love Mace. But the reality is, we watch Jim. Jim is more connected to the everyday guy. You got to remember, Cam was a talented ball player. He's been a talented ball player since he was 11. If you played basketball in New York, 87, 88, 89, 90, you knew who Cam was. As a kid, he won. You know that Rucker tournament that y'all love, that 55th tournament y'all love so much? He won MVP at 15. You know that court that everybody go crazy over? Everybody wait hours to get into the gym. They sit out and they sit on them blue steps and there's a concrete and you watch it. Yeah, he won MVP at 15. Super nice from a kid to when he left high school. Was the man. Like, we're not the man. There was no, when you heard that name Cam, that's like almost hearing there was another guy named Fabulous. See, before you think about if you were growing up in that era, there was another Fabulous, not the rapper. It was another kid that played basketball named Fab. Interesting. Jim Jones played his position. But you can't, when they go at it with each other, the best thing to do is mind your business and let them go back and forth, because that's their thing. You don't know what Dame and Jay had in, like, their conversation. You don't know what Cam and Jim conversation is. This might be a play. Everybody getting rich. You heard what Jim said. He sold that technology. Huh? We forget that part. We forget that Jim said Jim is into technology now. He's innovate. He has something that of value technically from a technology standpoint. Musically, they're buying his technology to enhance music and utilize. Man, listen. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Listen, Jim is getting paid. Jim just listen. If you listen to the interview he did, homie got paid. Like, he got the listen. He ain't none of them are broke. None of them are broke. Oh, the Nas and Cormega beef. That was Steve Stout, the commissioner. you want to know about that, Nas? That was Steve Stout. And shout out to Steve Stout, the commissioner. I love Steve Stout. I love Steve Stout. I love how he thinks. I love Dame. I love how he thinks. Like that's my era of entrepreneurism. I like those guys. But yeah, Steve Stout that was the reason for that. They were trying to eat off of Mega, and Mega wasn't trying to hear it like that. All right, who is better point guard? Oh shit! Damn, what kind of question is? Who is better, Steph, Sebastian, Strickland? Oh, where's Kenny Smith? Yo, Kenny Smith was nice too. There was all right in my era. There was a lot of nice point guards. There was a lot of nice point guards. I mean, you could say Boo Harvey, you could say Jamal Walker, you could say, um, what's my man that Curry Thompson. I had made a comment about Curry Thompson, who played for Walton. Jalen Brunson reminds me of Curry Thompson. Then you still got Skip. You got a whole bunch of guys that play great as point guard. But as far as that group, those four guys, the best point guard, you're talking as a pro or coming up in New York. Like that's a tough one. Oh yeah, Skip. I think Steph is the more complete point guard. But Sebastian had a moment. Ross Strickland is undeniable with his lineage and his connection to Kyrie. Mark Jackson is the best passer. Mark Jackson has the best court vision. Strickland is the best finisher. You know, he's from the Bronx. I can't just deny that. But Steph was, because he had three brothers that almost made it, so they all poured their knowledge into him. And Sebastian is part of that lineage, just like Lance Stevenson. I would go Steph. I would go Rod. I would go Mark, and then I would go Sebastian. You know what I mean? But I would go Steph. I would go Steph first. Coming up in New York? Coming up in New York, Rod Strickland was a legend. Mark Jackson was a legend too, but Rod Strickland was a legend. Rod Strickland was nice. Like you heard about Hot Rod. Sebastian, you heard about him, but you only heard about him because Steph's legacy. Steph's legacy was just that big that anybody that went to Lincoln after him, it was already up. So I'm gonna go with I'm definitely gonna go with coming up. And Steph had to deal with Kareem Reed too. But then, damn, you limit like Kenny Anderson is not on that list. Why isn't Kenny Anderson on that list? Kenny Anderson got to be on that list. Kenny Anderson got to be on that list. You got Derek Phelps. You got you got Adrian Autry. Red was nice. You had Kareem Reed. You had like this. But out of those four, I gotta go with Starbury. I gotta go with Starbury. Yeah. But Steph was. I remember playing against Steph when he was like 12 or 13, and then I saw him again in Harlem. I had played in a tournament on the East Side. He was playing for Mousy. He was playing for Mousy at the time, and this was like in the early 90s, maybe 91. This was 91 going into my senior season, 1991. And I saw him again. The first time I saw him, he was like 5'4", 5'5". The first time I saw him, and I played against him. The next time I saw him, he was 5'10". He was 5'10" going into his freshman year at Lincoln, and they did a big story on him in the Newsday. And I remembered him because I was like, damn, because he always had that big head. Like Steph always had a big head. And then when I saw him play against Mousy, it was like a grown man playing. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a grown man playing with kids. When I saw Steph playing, he was 14 playing against his age, but it looked like a grown man playing with kids. It looked too easy. And then he went to Lincoln and became a star, and the rest was history. But everybody knew he was going to become a star. They didn't know he was going to go to the league because, there was like a big cloud over Brooklyn at that point. Man, I can't even conceptualize a video about us trading, Jakob Poeltl for Zach Edey. We could pull that off. If Masai Ujiri could pull that off, he's the man. Who's the best? What about big guys? Kareem, Chris Muller, who else? We had a lot of bigs in New York. You know what I mean? But Kareem is the best. By far the best. Lou Alcindor is what they used to call him. But then you got street point guards that were just as good as those guys we were talking about. You got Pee Wee Kirkland. You know what I mean? You got Dean Meminger. You got one of my personal favorites, one of my coaches, Jackie Knowles. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of point guards back in the 70s and the early 80s. But when you talk about bigs, like Kareem is the best. Chris Mullin was nice as a shooter. I think the Raptors need to have a definitive system first. Because whatever talent we get, we have to have something that utilizes it. You know what I mean? Everything that comes to us, we have to be able to use. You know what I mean? And we can do whatever we want as far as bringing in talent, but we have to be able to make use of the talent. And that's a totally different mission. And everybody has to put the work in. And everybody's not willing to. Everybody don't. And the thing is, you got to figure it out. And you don't have a lot of times. Was I a St. John's fan? I wanted to go to St. John's. Actually, I had a visit scheduled. Me and my moms, we were supposed to go visit St. John's. And it never happened. I wanted to go to St. John's. Would I have played for St. John's? Hell no. Boo Harvey was there, and they were recruiting All-Americans, so I'd have probably just went to school. Listen, you know what I mean? You got to play your position. You was nice, but you wasn't that nice. Boo Harvey was the man. Exactly. We need to stop rolling out the red carpet. Because a lot of these conversations are exactly that. We rolling out the red carpet, making guys feel comfortable instead of working for whatever we're going to give them as far as our belief, our energy, our attention. And I think a lot of times they don't understand the value of us praising them. They think they're supposed to just have that. And it's not true. And when we praise the group before them, and I'm so happy that this was brought up, Ru, but the reality is, it's like we give these guys the same judgment that we gave champions. Like we gave Chris when he was with Norman Powell, and there was a Pascal and an OG, and there was still a Fred, and we gave those guys that opportunity to redeem themselves and make it right. These new guys don't deserve that until they prove to be winners and champions. Exactly. Believe in the hype before earning is not exactly. And a lot of people are with the conversation of giving them this option of you can step on this pedestal without having earned the right to have the pedestal in front of them in the first place. You know what I mean? Like we can't just give guys opportunities we don't feel they deserve. And it's not because they're not worthy ball players. They're not worthy of our affection as ball players because there's a standard. You have to achieve and go through some shit and come out on the other side stronger and better and more resilient before we can trust you and believe in you. And a lot of times, and I think we got caught up with the young guys. You know what I mean? Me personally, once I saw what I saw, I was like, I'm falling back. I got to give it more time. Like the season as far as competing against everybody else, I got to fall back and watch them realistically instead of having these rose-colored glasses on. They have a lot of work to do. Remember, these dudes that we were loving and trusting, they won a G League championship together. Chris Boucher won MVP, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody from that unit got paid. Norman Powell's about to be an all-star. Everybody got paid. Everybody's in the space. Everybody's holding it down. Fred is going to make Fred is made as an undrafted player. He's made over almost $200 million. As an undrafted player, that is the equivalent of working for a Fortune 500 company without a college degree and making it to executive level income. There's a lot of work. But yeah, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I gotta get going. Hold on 1 second. You almost got me clipped, nephew. Yo, my nephew almost got me clipped, son. Yo. Yo, my nephew almost got me clipped. Oh shit! I hope the music ain't come through too crazy. Oh man. I'm sorry, y'all. My nephew almost got me clipped. His phone was on. The music was playing a little bit. Hopefully, YouTube don't hit me with a copyright strike. You know what I mean? Hopefully not. You know what I mean? But hey, there's nothing I can do at this point. Now my nephew, he walked into the kitchen and he had his phone on and he had music playing. So I had to be like, listen, you gotta turn that down before they clip me. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for this one. That shit had me nervous. Like, oh shit, I hear music. No. Oh shit. I gotta pour me another drink. This shit is crazy. Yeah, but let me see. Yeah, I was shook daddy. I was like, nah, no, don't give me no strikes. Oh shit. Oh shit. I hope that shit ain't come through. I'll find out soon enough. We will find out. Yeah. Yo, I could take you back, Stargate, when St. John's was trying to get Gary Payton. Gary Payton was supposed to play for St. John's. Yeah, that part. Gary Payton was supposed to play for St. John's. Yeah, that we could go back. We go all the way back when he's talking to St. John's. My nephew just came in. I had to get going. You know what I mean? It's gonna be noise. It's gonna be music. The house is alive. I'm about to make me another drink. I'm gonna holler at y'all. I gotta get going. The house is alive. Yo, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. All right, peace.